honorees, Ma'am Berlinda Alinaya, Ma'am Martha Apos, Ma'am Evelyn Cavalida, Ma'am Teresita Lumasag, Ma'am Carolina Tadena, and Ma'am Concepcion Zamora, teachers, visitors, a pleasant morning to everyone. It was not me who was originally chosen to give you my father's life story, but my daughter, Dana. But their class Christmas party was also scheduled today, and I am the second choice. But whatever I will be reading right now, we are all in the perspective of Dana. So that as I read, imagine that it is not me going through it, but Dana. Here it goes. Sometime in 1955, the silence and the stillness of the early dawn in Purok Immaculada, Barangay Poblacion of Lupon, was broken by the loud cry of a newborn. The 12th child and the youngest son of Simeon and Lourdes del Campo. They soon called that child Carlos, from his great-grandfather who hailed from Spain and came to the Philippines during the Spanish regime. That child, Carlos, whom I would later call Bebong. Much was not known about his early childhood, and what I would share with you right now are just the stories Bebong himself had passed down to his children, and later to me. Bebong has two sisters ahead of him, whom he grew up with, and whom he is close to. Perhaps it was from these sisters whom Bebong got that certain flick of his fingers or that peculiar sway of his hips when he runs. And there was a time in his preschool days when Bebong said these two sisters dressed him up with blouse and skirt and asked him to go to the store to buy candies. With only the candies he could have in his hand, in his mind, he obliged. And his sisters and the whole neighborhood laughed at the sight as he made. He did not mind. His hands were full of candies and could not think of anything else. As the youngest son, Bebong is much sheltered by his mother, Lola Odette. In his school age, when Bebong would gather and cut firewood, Lola Odette would take the axe from him, saying, "Ako dalang Bebong, basig masamad kaw." His first toy truck made of wood was not made by him, but by his older brother, Paul. And at night, when Lolo Paul was busy fetching water from the nearby flowing, Bebong was out hanging out with friends. He knew so little about carpentry and household stuff, so that when he had a family of his own and had to have minor fixing in the house, he found it hard to hit the nail on its head and ended up wasting lots of nails over simple carpentry work. His wife, Rodora, I call Oya, would come to his rescue. But Bebong has that tenacity to do good. And when he is already the father of 3 children, take note, 3 children, that's how long he mastered it, he finally made a shoe rack. With pride, he showed it to Lola Odette, who remarked, "Pagkagwapuhay, Bebong." Lola Odette was so awed that it was as if Bebong had constructed a mansion and not a shoe rack. And all of you must not have known this. Bebong has a secret. And I am sure it is safe to share it with you because he is not here. You know, it was only in the last months of his 3rd grade that he could read. All those years from grades 1 to 3, he would just memorize all those words that the teachers would ask them to read. And through all those years, he made a promise to himself that the moment he could read, he would read anything that his eyes could lay onto. And he made true to that promise. The moment he knew how to read, he would read everything that he could see. From the paper wrappings of goods he bought from the store, to the billboards he could see while riding in a bus, to clippings, to bulletin boards, and everything. And certainly, it was that resolve that gave him the beauty of knowing a lot through reading and made him thirst to read and read and read. When my mother was born in 1981, Bebong asked for a book by Robert Ludlow, The Born Identity. It was worth 350 pesos. That time, with a monthly salary of 900 pesos, it was so big an amount that you could buy 2 Wrangler t-shirts. But he would rather have that book than the 2 branded shirts. That fiber of him is interwoven in my own fabric. Last November, I was with a group which was sent to Tagaytay City for the Philippine Science Youth Society Club Convention. Much to my mom's disgust, I spent 800 pesos from my meager allowance to buy 3 books. As a consequence, I had to contend with arroz caldo every breakfast for days. That only shows how much Bebong had influenced me, his granddaughter. At home, he has this collection of books which he introduced to his children, to me, to his nephews and nieces. Thanks to him, we are a family of readers. After completing his elementary education at the Lupon Central Elementary School, he went to enroll at the Merinol High School of Lupon. And when he was asked to fill out some forms, he realized that he forgot his birthday. That could be understandable, because he never had celebrated his birthday in his childhood years. Somebody told him to just choose the month and date that would be easy for him to remember. And he chose June 15, 1955. It was years later when his younger sister, Anna, accidentally came across his record in the San Vicente Parish Center and learned that he was actually born on July 16, 1955. And up to now, we would greet him, "Happy fake birthday, Bebong," and "Happy birthday, Bebong." But it is only the greetings that would come twice. The gifts, if there would be any, comes just once. In high school, Bebong was introduced to basketball and became a member of the varsity team. It paved his way to the world of sports, which in later years shifted from basketball to soccer football. His love for soccer was so much that he would stay awake till the wee hours of the morning watching World Cup soccer games on TV. That's the reason why the next day you would find him snoring in his office. And when he was designated as the football soccer trainer, he did not stop searching till he found a book on how to train children in soccer. And as if it was not enough, he requested his nephew, who was at that time an instructor in UP Diliman, to send him hard copies of anything about soccer. And those copies range from management of soccer team, to tactics, and to strategies. Bebong is the type of person who would not stop until he mastered what he chose to do. And his effort bore fruits. Through him, Unit 3 became the team of reckon within provincial meets. With him as the soccer coach and trainer, Unit 3 became champion in Go for Gold for 2 years in a row, and countless times in the provincial meet, and silver in the Esmaraa. Never in his wildest dream had he thought that he would be designated as the regional soccer tournament manager and will be sent to Palarong Pambansa 3 times. And these are the accomplishments he deeply treasures in his heart. In Merinol, Bebong became close to the Merinol missionaries, nuns, and priests. And he is closest to the school administrator herself, Sister Loretta Hariman M.N. Sister Loretta ushered him to the deeper knowledge and understanding of Catholicism. He then participated and became altar boy in high school and went with priests in their visits to barangays and other church activities. Gradually, Bebong learned to love the work of spreading the good news, and in his young mind, he then thought he was called to become a priest. After completing his secondary education in Maryknoll and eagerly wanting to become a priest, Bebong studied in the St. Francis Xavier Seminary. Here, he was privileged to be under the tutelage of doctors of literature like Father Joseph Oholan, a Maryknoll missionary who taught literature so beautifully and so vividly and had stirred Bebong's imagination that he kept on craving for more and more. And that little boy who once promised to read